What's up, YouTube? Your boy back once again with another sport topic, and today we're going to talk some football, specifically the NFL draft. I know some of y'all been waiting on this. Y'all been messaging me in my comments on my last videos like, hey, Spitz, what you think about the draft? You ain't did nothing about the draft. What's going on about the draft? Had a couple things I had to take care of. I had to do outside other stuff, so I didn't get a chance to do my breakdown of the draft and do my draft grade. This is going to be it right here. But before I start on that, I want to send a special shout out to Seth Payne in Sports Radio 610. Now, my boy Wink, this is another part of the Texas Roundtable, called on 610 today and talked to Mike Melser and Seth Payne and was mentioned. Of course, Wink had to shout out South Sports in the Roundtable. So after that, they continued the conversation and was still talking about South Sports in the Roundtable. And then after that, me, Wise, Braylon, Parrish all present the tweet at Seth Payne. And Seth Payne actually tweeted back at us, talked to us and gave conversation dialect. And we all have invited him to come on to Soft Sports to better elaborate the conversation that we were going on, the disagreement that he has with our decisions and what we felt about this past draft. His agreements with the draft, our disappointment in the draft. So, hey, so if all y'all, I want all y'all out there to do me a favor. If y'all all have a Twitter, first thing y'all do is add me on Twitter, Spitz39_. That's the first thing y'all do. But after that, y'all all tweet at Seth Payne, at Seth Payne NFL, and tell him and invite him constantly to mention us and constantly to join Saw Sports for a conversation, for more dialogue. I'm going to keep on adding you because we want to have you on. We would love to have you on our show because we want to better elaborate what's going on and your opinions. Because, hey, ain't 16. You ain't no commercial breaks. You ain't got to worry about getting edited out, any of that type of stuff. We ain't got to cut nothing. You just go in there and talk. Dialect, conversation, dialogue. That's what makes this country great. Conversation, rules the nation, all that nice, fine, good stuff. But now we're going to talk about the draft. With the first pick of the Houston Texans in the third round, the 6'8" pick, Houston Texans take safety Justin Reid, Stanford. Justin Reid, 6 foot 207. He got a 9 inch and 3/4 hands. Ran a 4.4 in the 40. Now I did a breakdown on Reid before the draft when I did my positions, and I liked him as a safety. I thought he's definitely a first round grade type guy. He's definitely a guy that if he was took in the first round when nobody said anything about it, he was definitely a guy who had first round grade, who slipped and slided all the way to the third round. So you got great value out of him. If you get him in the third round, you got a first round talent grade in the third round. You did good. You off to a good start by getting a first round guy drafted in the third round. He's physical. He's a good tackler. He's good in coverage. He's one of the best cover safeties that was in this draft. And I think Romeo could do some mismatches with him. And then you throw him out there with Honey Badger and the rest of that secondary. You can do something in certain packages, dime packages, whatever the case may be. You can get some real utilization. I think he will be. I don't know if he'll be a quote-unquote starter, like a full-fledged starter, but he'll be playing starting minutes because of the type of sub-packages they'll be able to do with him. So this is a great pick. I like that pick. That was a steal of the draft. That's the consistency that everybody's giving, that was a steal of the draft. Reid falling all the way to the third round for the Texans not to have a first or second round, and they still end up with a play of that caliber. That's a steal of the draft. Now, we into muddy waters because our second pick in the third round, pick 80, Martinas Rankin, offensive lineman out of Mississippi State, 6'4", 308. Now, they listed him when they drafted him, they said tackle. When Phoenix did some digging up and some research on him, like I'm gonna put this out there. I don't judge offensive linemen. I can tell when the guy's getting beat, but I can't sit up here and tell you. That's the reason why I didn't do a breakdown of offensive linemen or which offensive linemen are going to be good, unless he's just a straight dominant guy and is just straight off the field like this guy is dominating this guy. Other than that, like I'm not that keen on offensive linemen. I'll put that to you right there out front. But I can tell when somebody's playing bad. But from what Phoenix research did, that they said that he is not that good on the outside. The better inside that you put him at is where he's best suited, and he should, like, his best attribute will be playing center. But we haven't seen it, Nick Martin. Now, Bill O'Brien's also stated that he'll flirt around the idea of playing Martin at guard. So for you to get a guy who is a tackle that is better served than playing the center position, and you're floating the idea that you'll play your center that you drafted with the second pick 2 years ago and playing him at guard, this is the issue I have with Bill O'Brien. He is notorious, since he's been here, of playing offensive linemen out of position. You know, like Allen the wrong guard position, have Clark at the wrong position, played Mance at the wrong position, played Giacomini. He's notorious for playing people Sufilo. He's notorious for playing offensive linemen, especially out of position. That's my issue. You got a guy who they say is best suited at playing center, and you're gonna play him at tackle. Because when Gaines was asked what Gaines said, we see him as an offensive lineman. That means you're gonna play the guy out of position. Like that's the issue I have, is that you're gonna play him out of position. You're either gonna play him out of position, or you're gonna play Nick Martin out of position. And why would you put your quarterback's coming off ACL? Why would you put him through that? And he's a mobile quarterback. Why would you put him through offensive lineman playing out of position? That makes no sense. But that's what Bill O'Brien does. The next pick, the pick of the draft, another third rounder, pick 98, Jordan Akins, tight end, UCF, 6'3", 250, hands a 9.25, and his 40 time, it was kind of hard to do some research, but it's around like a 4.9, so he damn near ran a 5 in the 40. He's 26 years old, which means you're getting a draft in a 26-year-old. That means by the time his rookie contract is over, he'll be between 30 and 31. His prime will already be passed. So you're going to get him in his prime now, but now he has to learn the NFL while he's in his prime. So that means you won't even get the best usage out of him of his prime. When you had Ian Thomas, who was taken 2 to 3 picks later, from Montgomery, who was taken, I think, 2 rounds later, or a round and a half later. That's my issue with this pick. And with the past 2 picks, I'm thinking classic Bill O'Brien happened. We all know that Bill O'Brien is very knee-jerk, very reactionary. One of the things I like about Bill O'Brien is that he's knee-jerk and he's reactionary, but it's also his downfall. Like, I'm a nerd. I'm put that disclaimer out there. I'm a nerd. I watch Dragon Ball Z, and part of Dragon Ball Z, like, there's a character in Dragon Ball Z named Vegeta, and he's very arrogant. That's his best attribute and his worst attribute because it gets him into bad situations. This is the same thing with Bill O'Brien. Him being knee-jerk puts him and puts this team, which puts us fans, in bad situations. This is the reason why. Because he sees a guy that has a good game or a good practice. Remember, Bill O'Brien was coaching the Senior Bowl. So he got to see these guys firsthand, and I know exactly this is what happened. After the Senior Bowl, he went to that meeting with Brian Gaines like, hey, I see these, ain't nobody talking about these kids right here. Ain't nobody talking about them. But I know, these kids can play. Ain't that what he said on Hard Knocks? They shitting on these 2 quarterbacks, but I know these guys. They can play. What do you do about Chris Polk? He was watching film on Chris Polk when he played for the Eagles, and what did Chris Polk have? 20 yards against us? And it's like, no, it was like 39 or 40. How many carries? See, if he had 20 carries that game, he had 20 yards and 5 touchdowns against us. That's the reason why Lamar Miller's on the team, because he had 2 50-yard touchdowns against us. If you have a good game against Bill O'Brien, he is sold. If he sees you in practice, have a good practice, he is sold on you. Like, I know. I seen the upside. This guy can do it. I can coach him. I know. That's what you have with these 2 picks. People were not talking about these 2 players. I could barely find film on Akins. That right there is a third-round pick I can barely find film on. 26-year-old. Played for the Texas Rangers in the minor league Texas Rangers for 4 years. He has some steal bases, so they say he's fast, but his 40 time don't show that he's fast. Not to mention he's coming off of an ACL injury in college, and he's coming off a hamstring injury. Now, I know people say, whoa, Watson's coming off ACL. Watson's 22 years old. This dude 26. So he's older. And you had other tight ends on the board that was available that was graded and rated higher, who had better tape. That's all I think about it. You had other tight ends. If you would have just drafted another position, that'd been totally different. But for you to draft this same guy, that's the same position of guys who were left on the board, who were quote unquote more talented and younger and had better tape, This makes no sense. Next pick, the 4th round. Pick 103. They draft Keke Coutee, wide receiver, Texas Tech, 5'10", 181, has an 8-inch hand size, and ran a 4.43 in the 40. Now, I'm a Texas Tech fan. If y'all don't know, I'm a huge Texas Tech fan. That's one of the reasons why I like Patrick Mahomes coming out last year. I like Keke. I really do. I don't get me wrong. I like Keke. I don't like him in the spot. You could have got Keke in the 6. That's my only issue with this pick, is that I think drafting Keke was too high. Keke wasn't a need. If you didn't draft Keke and you got somebody else later on, I mean, if you didn't draft Keke and Keke was drafted before you was able to pick again, oh well, to be honest with you. Like, oh well, we don't have to have Keke. Now, I'm glad that he's on the team because Keke's fast. His biggest asset is that he's gonna be a good returner. Now, for you to draft him in the spot, especially when you're not having, it'd be different also if you draft him in the spot and you had a 1st and 2nd round pick. So by this time we already had like 5-6 players already drafted because we had 1st and 2nd round picks. We had 2 of the 3 3rd round picks. So we had picks in premium positions and premium draft slots to bring in. And now you're taking the fly on Keke. That's completely different. But because you didn't do anything in free agency and you didn't really do anything outside of Reid in the draft because your draft picks are conducive, this right here wasn't a good decision as far as the draft slot. That right there wasn't a good decision to pick him in this spot. But like I say, so you really need him to be a quote-unquote Devin Hester type, Dante Hall type return man. Like, you need a guy that's consistently get you in good position. I'm not saying he got to score a touchdown every time, but I'm saying, or break the touchdown record for the most touchdowns in the season off a return. But he's going to have to get you like 1 or 2 punt kickoff touchdowns and constantly 9 out of 10 times put you into good range when he touches the ball, like as far as a return man. Now he's gonna help you in the slot. Yeah, some of the stuff that Bill O'Brien likes to do with the receiver reverses and the flippity flops, like Van der Messe, and like those type of funny looking plays in the backfield. They have a lot of backfield action. Those things Keke can do. He can excel at doing those things. Wes Welker, one of the things I actually forgot to after we drafted, Wes Welker, one of the best slot receivers we've seen in the recent past 15, 20 years, who's also a Texas Tech alum, who I'm pretty sure had plenty of conversations with Keke at being at Texas Tech. Now can get even more hands-on with him now that he's our receiver coach here in Houston. I forgot we hired him last year. So I'm pretty sure that's part of the reason why we drafted him. I'm pretty sure that he gave him the 411 on Keke, and he probably put that bug in his ear about Keke. So I'm pretty sure that's where that mostly came from. Bill O'Brien stated that he's talked to Keke several times at Tech and has brought Keke to Houston. He gave him some of their plays before they drafted him, and he knew how to run the routes and was able to do some of the stuff, and then also gave him route combinations that if you see this defense coverage out here, what combinations should you do, and that Keke passed everything with flying colors. So I think they're going to try to use Keke. I don't know if he's going to be a huge impact at the receiving position this year, but I think he will be an impact as far as the return, man, because we haven't seen any returns. And then you guys should use him and Honey Badger at the same time as far as those double reverses and kickoff returns. Same thing with Wolford. Like, you can throw out different punt return matchups, things of that type of nature with these guys and with the speed that you be able to put on the field. You can do stuff like that. But that's just my only issue is the spot. I like the player, love the player, don't like the spot. The next pick, Duke Efork, DN out Wake Forest. He's 6'3", 264, has 9-inch hands. I like him. He has good instinct when it comes to pass rush. He has instant pass rush instincts. I'm pretty sure probably because of the school he went to, he probably didn't get that much notoriety. Also, I think he played some JUCO football, if I'm not mistaken. That's probably the reason why he slipped to 6. I think that he would be a good rotational player. You can mix him in. Now, of course, I'm not counting on him doing anything this year, but in the future years, I think he will, because he does have natural pass rush ability, natural pass rush instinct. So I do like the player. I like that pick. Also, think he is originally from Nigeria, or his people are, but he's from Houston because he went to school in Houston. So I think he went to A-League, if I'm not mistaken. So they got a quote-unquote hometown kid. Next 6th round, pick 211, Jordan Thomas, tight end, Mississippi State, 6'6", 265, ran a 4.74, 11-inch hands. I like his measurables. I like the 6'6". I like the 265. I like the 11-inch hands because hop hands are 10, and we always talk about how big hop hands are. I can't find film on him, so I don't like these last guys. I can't really find film on. I didn't find any film on Jordan Thomas. From what I'm hearing, he used to be a receiver. He got put on weight, so that's why he's playing tight end. So people thought he's played wide receiver. Oh, he's good playing tight end. That's a different transition. It's not a transition you can make so easily. I think he's going to be a project guy. I think it's a guy who's probably more than likely will be a practice squad guy for this year, possibly even next year. So you probably won't get to see the fruits of Jordan Thomas until another 2 years, to be honest with you. Probably the season 2019 at best. 2020 is what you most likely would you see a real significance contribute from Jordan Thomas. Another 7th-round pick, 214, the pick 214, Peter Kalamba, linebacker, Stafford, 6'2", 257, 9-inch hands. He ran a 4.57. Like I said, I couldn't really find no film on him, so I really don't have too much of an opinion on him. From what I'm hearing, it was okay at best. Not really a standout. 7th-round pick, last pick of the draft, pick 222, Jermaine Kelly, cornerback, San Jose State, 6'1", 195. He has 2 different 40 times from 2 different websites. One says he ran a 4.47, but his pro day he ran a 4.52. Like that's hard. But the guy looks big when you see him. So my thing is, I think he won't make the team. I think he'll be a practice squad player. But if he does make the team, I think more than likely they'll try to throw him at strong safety. That's just my opinion. His tape seemed okay, but like I said, he plays big, which that's why I think that they'll probably try to move him at safety outside being a corner. I think he played corner at San Jose State, but I think more than likely they'll try to move him into strong when the season starts, or if he does make the team. But my overall draft grade is a D plus, because you did do good with Reid. I like Duke. I like Keke the player, just don't like the spot. I like the potential of Thomas because I like his measurables. Like I say, Rankin, I don't know. Jordan Akins is the biggest question mark on him because you had talent left on the board. But after thinking about it, when I first watched the draft, I was mad. I'm not gonna lie. That day 2, I was mad. After sitting back and thinking about it and reflecting, I no longer got mad because I'm no longer surprised. Because this is one of the things I was mentioning back 2 months ago during the free agency period. My issues with Brian Gaines. And then the day after the draft process, you fire everybody. Now, people are saying, well, those were Rick Smith people, and he was just like, if that's the case, why'd you allow them to do the pre-draft breakdowns? Why'd you allow them to scout? Like, I don't understand why allow these people to scout. When you got the job, you should have fired everybody then and brought in your whole staff. That way everybody be on the same page and the same accord. So I'm thinking they look back and they really look back and was looking at other people's drafts and comparing their draft to other people's drafts and looking at other stuff, and they were sitting there thinking about like, damn, we made some bad choices when you really think about it. And that's one of the reasons why they fired some of the guys. Now, I feel like an idiot because I've been doing draft breakdowns of position by position for the past month. And it's like I did that shit for nothing because guys who I said were top-rated guys failed. Guys who were good value picks or supposed to be taken in those spots were there, and you passed on them for guys who were lesser rated players. And I am confused. Now, if those guys weren't on the board and this is the draft you end up with, it's a totally different draft. The draft grade is not only indicative of what you picked, it's also what you passed up on, what was done around you. And when you can get the exact same player for player, pick for pick, but other players were off the board, it could be a different grade. The grade can go up because this is what you was left with. But because what you were left with as far as the pool of players, and you ended up with this, that's what makes it a D. That's what makes it that way. Then yesterday they gave Blue a contract. What that tells me is that I do think that they probably were targeting running back. They didn't draft one. I said that. I said I wouldn't be surprised if they did. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't. And then it got to the point after I scouted backs, I said I'd be disappointed they didn't come up with a back. Backs were falling, but then right before we got there, like guys like Geis who fell all the way on, like Geis who was a first round graded guy fell almost to us in the third, type of stuff like that. Paine went high up. Paine went in the first round. Like it was a run on running backs, which I predicted. I thought it would be a run on running backs in the second round. If those things wouldn't have happened, I think that they probably would have picked up a back. And I think that's the reason why they didn't sign Blue earlier, because they wanted to see what was going to happen via the draft. And the board didn't fall like that, so that's the reason why I think they ended up signing Blue. They gave Kevin Johnson extended his 5th-year option. I foresee that coming because there's a benefit. No really downside to it, because if you like Honcho and believe, Honcho and Wise who believe that he will ball out and be to his Pro Bowl, be to a Pro Bowl, All Pro type level, which means I have to buy a Kevin Johnson jersey. If that happens, then you have him at good value, because then you have an extra year to say do it again. Then we'll give you a contract, because you have a 2-year window on him. Because now if he balled out, you have to wait. It benefits you to go ahead and add that 5th year. It's no harm, because even if he doesn't, even if he still plays like Kevin Johnson, you just paying him on a rookie scale, so it doesn't hurt you. You still be paying him the same. It's not like it's an actual extension. It just extends that contract one more year to have an extra prove-it year. If you do succeed, do it again type. And if you don't, well, we was paying you that type of money anyway to do what you were doing, so we ain't really tripping. We can get rid of it, because it's only fully guaranteed for injury, but it's only if it's injury as far as it injures his, he can't play no more. It's not like if he breaks his hand, but if he just misses a game, like if he gets a concussion, he misses a game. Oh snap! Now we got guaranteed his contract. It's not guaranteed like that. It's only if it's a career-ending injury, it's fully guaranteed. That 1 year is. But like I said, that's neither here nor there. But that's pretty much my breakdown of the draft. Like I said, I give them guys a D. They fired the whole they whole board, and like I said, with this draft, what it brings to me is that Bill O'Brien at that Senior Bowl, I know these guys. These guys can play. These kids can play. I know these kids. They can play. Give them my system. I make sure they can play. I know they can play. I'm smarter than everybody. And I have a feeling it's going to turn around and bite your ass in the ass. Now, I hope I'm wrong. I hope all these dudes ball out. I hope Martin ball out. I hope Akins plays his potential at least for the 4 years. Like I said, I like Keke, I just don't like him at that spot. And I think these other guys, normally when you draft 6, 7 round guys, those guys are normally practice squad players anyway. You do have some diamonds in the rough every now and again, but more of the time, they're rotational players at best. So we can only hope for the best. But don't you guys get tired of always hoping for the best instead of just drafting the best player? But like I said, if you guys have a Twitter, add me, Spitz_Spitz39_ on Twitter. And after y'all do that, if y'all haven't done it already, go ahead and tweet at that man Seth Payne, because we would like to get him on Soft Sports. I'd like to get him here on my channel. We do a personal video if you don't want to be on the Soft Sports, but we'd rather get you on Soft Sports on the round table so we can all have a conversation. It won't be nothing harsh. It would just be strictly conversation. Like, share, subscribe if you haven't, comment below. If you haven't clicked that bell, get my videos, I holla.